After understanding why the protective security policy framework exists in Australia, your next step is learning how to navigate it without feeling lost. This is where many people struggle. They open PSPF documentation, see policy language and formal structure, and immediately feel overwhelmed. Your goal in this lecture is to remove that fear. The Australian Protective Security Policy Framework is deliberately structured to be logical, consistent, and scalable across organizations of different sizes and risk profiles. Once you understand how it is organized, reading PSPF stops feeling like compliance paperwork and starts feeling like a clear roadmap. In this lecture, you focus on how PSPF is governed, how its domains fit together, how policies and requirements are written, and why risk-based thinking matters more than ticking boxes. To understand PSPF properly, you must first understand that it is a policy framework, not a technical standard. That means it is governed at the highest levels of government and leadership. PSPF is issued as a whole of government policy, which gives it authority and consistency. It sets expectations for how security must be approached across Commonwealth entities, regardless of their function or size. This governance model ensures that security is not left to individual interpretation or personal preference. For you, this means PSPF is not something a security team invents locally. It is something leaders are accountable for implementing and maintaining. Security is treated as a leadership responsibility, not just an IT task. Once you recognize this, the structure of PSPF starts to make sense. It is written to guide decision makers, not to replace technical standards or operational procedures. PSPF is divided into 4 core domains, and this is intentional. Rather than grouping controls by technology or department, PSPF groups security by what is being protected and how risk manifests. These domains reflect the reality you explored in Lecture 1. Threats do not target just systems. They target people, places, information, and governance weaknesses. Each domain addresses a different aspect of that reality. By separating security into domains, PSPF allows organizations to assess maturity, assign ownership, and improve protection in a structured way without treating security as one large unmanageable problem. Governance sits at the top for a reason. Without governance, security controls become inconsistent, reactive, and fragile. In the governance domain, PSPF focuses on leadership responsibility, risk ownership, and decision making. This is where accountability is defined and where security is embedded into organizational strategy. As you read PSPF, you will notice that governance requirements are written in a way that expects executives and senior leaders to be involved. This is deliberate. Security must be driven from the top if it is going to work across the organization. For you, this reinforces an important lesson. Effective security begins with leadership alignment, not tools. Personnel security focuses on people because people are both essential to operations and a potential source of risk. This domain covers how trust is established, maintained, and eventually removed across the employment lifecycle. It is not about assuming bad intent. It is about recognizing that access, authority, and knowledge must be managed carefully. When you read this section of PSPF, you will see that personnel security is not isolated from cybersecurity. It directly supports identity management, access control, and insider risk reduction. Understanding this domain helps you see why PSPF treats people as a security asset that must be protected and governed, not just managed by HR. Physical security often surprises people working in cyber roles. You might initially wonder why buildings, facilities, and physical assets are included in a security framework you associate with information protection. PSPF includes physical security, because physical access often enables cyber compromise. A stolen device, an unsecured server room, or unauthorized access to a facility can bypass many technical controls. This domain ensures that physical environments support rather than undermine security objectives. When you read PSPF with this in mind, physical security stops feeling separate and starts feeling like a natural extension of cyber resilience. Information security is where many cybersecurity professionals feel most comfortable. But PSPF approaches it from a policy and risk perspective, not a technical one. This domain focuses on protecting information across its life cycle and ensuring that information is handled according to its sensitivity and value. It does not tell you which tools to use. Instead, it sets expectations for classification, access, and protection. By placing information security alongside governance, personnel, and physical security, PSPF reinforces a key idea. Information cannot be protected effectively if the surrounding environment is weak. One of the most important things you need to learn is how PSPF language works. PSPF is built around policies, requirements, and mandatory outcomes. Policies explain intent and direction. Requirements define what must be achieved. Mandatory outcomes describe the result that organizations are expected to demonstrate. PSPF deliberately avoids prescribing exact implementations. This allows organizations to choose controls that suit their size, environment, and risk profile while still meeting the same outcomes. Once you understand this structure, reading PSPF becomes much easier. You stop looking for step-by-step instructions and start looking for intent and outcomes. A common mistake is treating PSPF as a checklist. This is exactly what it is designed to avoid. PSPF expects you to assess risk, make informed decisions, and apply controls proportionately. Two organizations may meet the same PSPF outcome using different approaches, and that is acceptable if the risk has been properly assessed. For you as a cybersecurity professional, this is empowering. It means your role is to think critically, not blindly comply. It also means your decisions must be defensible, documented, and aligned with organizational risk appetite. This risk-based approach is what makes PSPF sustainable over time. PSPF clearly defines accountability, and this is one of its strongest features. Accountable authorities are ultimately responsible for security outcomes within their organizations. They cannot delegate accountability even though they may delegate tasks. Security leaders support this accountability by advising on risk, designing controls, and monitoring effectiveness. This relationship ensures that security decisions are made at the right level and with the right authority. For you, this reinforces an important mindset shift. Security leadership is about influence, communication, and trust, not just technical expertise. By the end of this lecture, you should feel confident opening PSPF documentation and understanding how it is organized. You now know why governance comes first, how the four domains work together, what PSPF means by requirements and outcomes, why risk-based thinking matters more than compliance. As you move into the next lecture, you will start exploring governance in depth and how security becomes embedded into organizational leadership. With this structural understanding, everything that follows will feel far more intuitive. If this lecture helped you feel more confident navigating PSPF, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share your questions or reflections in the comments. Your engagement helps others build clarity and confidence as they begin their cybersecurity journey in Australia.